Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Assuming that you're watching, of course, in the morning, welcome to a show in which I thought it would be quite fun to have another look at some of your emails that come in. You do get in touch, and I very much appreciate that. It's very kind. It's interesting, is it not, that people are very much attracted to bad news. If there's bad news and the thumbnail says, oh, blimey, we're all going to die in a horrible agonising death or something dreadful is going to happen, people are very interested. It's surprising, however, that those things that are actually very important to us are not so interesting to viewers. I find that a bit peculiar. You know, if I talk, say, about food and farming, people are not so interested in that. I judge that by the numbers, you see, of people who watch the videos. And it's fascinating because food, of course, we're going into a food crisis. The farmers are being told to stop farming, and it doesn't seem to bother that many people. I find that a bit of a worry. However, I will be looking into that in more detail, even though perhaps people are quite happy to go to the supermarket and have the highly processed foods rather than actually trying to have organic or healthy or proper food. But let's see where it all goes. Anyway, your videos, which is fascinating, and thank you very much for sending them in. Let's have a look at the first one, which I think was a bit of a criticism of me, and that's fine. I don't mind people criticising. A few people were a little judgmental when I was seen to be smoking a pipe here in the Truth, Freedom and whatever else movement it is, sovereignty movement, and all quick to judge, but each person is able to do their own thing, of course. So let's have a look at this one and see where this one takes us. This one here says, very much enjoy your videos, but everything you speak of means nothing if the invasion of our homeland continues. Our cities are recognisable, our towns are changing before our eyes, and our parliament taking orders from the Islamic mob. All our dreams will count for nothing in the next 10 to 15 years when we are living under a caliphate. But why do you never mention this? You talk, I think that's supposed to say, about people being gagged, but why are you gagged on this very real threat? Well, it's a good question, I suppose. I have mentioned something about the migrant crisis, that we are unable to secure our borders. The government is unwilling to listen to the people on that. There are plenty of other people who seem to be making YouTube videos on this very subject and do it so much better than me that I can only cover certain subjects without spreading myself too thinly. But you have a point, and I have mentioned that I am appalled at the way that the country is going downhill and that the government seem to be running as a dictatorship, as tyranny, and that we do seem to unable to contain our borders and stop people coming in, because let's face it, if we did want to stop those people coming in, we could. We did lock everybody up, did we not? We made sure that people weren't allowed to come out of their houses. We ensured that people were obeying certain mandates and having things injected into them. So we had all of that. But it does seem that we cannot, for some reason, able to, the government seems to be impotent to stop people coming in. I get it. And who knows what they're doing in the hotels, these people that we are paying out of our taxes. I get all of that. But I don't have any more facts, and no one from Serco has come over to me and says, Richard, I'd love to come on your show and explain what's actually going on, of course, as we are looking after all these visitors. Nobody's come on to me. So it isn't that I'm not worried about it or concerned about it, but my focus really is elsewhere, and people will be having other channels which are focusing on just that, and good on them is all I can say. Let's go on to another email. And let's just get this up here. It says here, another subject. This is somebody completely different, who says, a subject I'd like you to tackle is that of cats and dogs left behind by the deceased. It's a situation that's only getting worse. In the apartment building that I live, it's becoming almost untenable. I've taken in one cat, and my next-door neighbour has 4 more. Neither of us are coping too well. Have you any suggestions? Well, I don't really have any suggestions, I'm afraid to say, except that, of course, as we have seen, the the mandated medical intervention that many people have been forced to have, and the sudden deaths that are going on all around the world must mean that those people's a number of those people will have got pets, and they need to be found. And as more people are suffering at this particular intervention that was thrust upon us, I think we're going to be overrun with pets and dogs. And talking of that, a friend of mine has a dog who's not been very well, took it to the vet and found that the vet were very quick on wanting to end its life. The vets do seem to be, a number of these large vets, and I had a lady I interviewed only about a month or so ago now, who was talking about how these big commercial corporate vets, corporations of vets, all part of some great big parent company, seem to be very keen to ensure that the pets have got lots of medical interventions, which at the end of it doesn't seem to make them very healthy. And then there seems to be a particular policy, I think, that is trying to ensure that people no longer have pets. And you can't help feeling that, again, this is a directive to keep people's vibrations low, take their pets away, or to spend lots of money. My son has a dog, and he went to the vet, said it's not terribly well, and they said, well, I'm sorry, you've got to have an operation on that, and it's going to cost you £10,000. £10,000. My son is only 29. He's just got a mortgage, and he lives with his girlfriend, and he's got 2 dogs, and this dog is going to have £10,000 he's got to find from somewhere. And he said, my dogs are like my children. They're like children to me. And of course, you can't help feeling that these vets are playing on the emotions, and they're finding it's a great way to earn lots of money. We are in a world in which people are having their money extracted from them every which way by large corporations, corporate Britain, I tend to call it. And we need to call this out. What we need is, of course, holistic vets, small run companies, not these big companies. But like so many businesses now, they're being chased away by the corporations. And I think this is one of the biggest problems that we have, that the corporations are shutting down the small family-run or sole traders out there. And this is where the fight should be in many aspects. And that's why I do talk about that more than I talk about the migrants in hotels, for example. But thank you for the email. Very interesting. Let's have a look at one more. And this one has come in by another person, and she says here, for my sins, I was talking to an older gentleman near retirement from HM Treasury on the train to London. Asked him what is the point of digital currency and their wish to scrap cash. To my surprise, he thinks it's the biggest con and more state control from nanny state. Surprised the thought police hadn't weeded him out from his employment, she says. Simple answer, this is what he said, is if we have a digital currency, they can track our money, dip into it whenever they want with extra taxes that come out automatically from our digital stash. They will have the power to freeze our accounts if we don't comply and leave us destitute. We've seen banks do this, but the DC, the state, will be able to do it at will if we step at line. That's DC is digital cash. With cash, we can take money out of our accounts. They can't get their grubby hands on it. The government have no idea how much cash we really have as individuals, and they hate it. If cash is no longer legal currency, we won't have hidden money to live on in our fight back against the state. Suggested that when he does take retirement, he contacts you for an anonymous interview. Well, I'd be more than happy to talk to somebody from the HM Treasury, of course, if he is going to spill the beans. They want to control every aspect of our lives, and everything we do requires money. It's as simple as that. And I think that's something that we know is happening. We've been talking about that on this channel. That is one of the things. And if we do not have that freedom to be able to spend our money on the things that we damn well like, rather than having the government trying to dip in, as this near-retirement HM Treasury chap was talking about. He obviously knows and has the inside story. And that is why getting out of the system of telling the government, telling the system that you have discovered that you are not what they think, this fictional character, this name in capitalized letters, that you're that you are the executor and sole beneficiary of your trust that they've set up, and that they are the trustee and they should be doing what you tell them to do, not the other way round. That democracy starts with us, the people, telling our representative, if we have them, to tell the government what to do, not the government tell us how it's going to do. And I will continue to talk about those issues because I think they are very key. It's interesting how many people still talk about, oh, we've got to vote for somebody in, or vote for this and vote for that. To me, that is about saying, yes, you are higher than I, and I will vote somebody for you to approve, rather than us actually electing somebody. But anyway, if there's any more exciting bad news, of course, I'll let you know, because people seem to love that bad news stories. But personally, I want to look on the positive and keep the vibrations high, because I don't want to materialize the bad news. I want to keep the good stuff going. So I may well talk about farming and food and stuff. And as you'll know, the channel is sort of moving into that direction as my partner Julia and I look for land. But every now and again, it's always good to have a look at some of the wonderful emails that you send me, and thank you very much for doing so. I can't always answer those emails. I do appreciate that you would like answers, but I'm quite busy. And I'd like to thank all those wonderful people who support the channel with kind donations. It's very good of you, very kind of you. And I hope that you will continue to share and like, subscribe, and all of those as we move into a new era here on this channel. Anyway, thank you for watching. Until next time, look after yourself, take care, and bye for now.